This is Chapter 2, Section 5, Postulates and Paragraph Proofs. A postulate, or axiom, these are statements that are accepted as true without proof. So these include basic ideas about points, lines, and planes. They can be stated as postulates. Now, there are a few that you need to commit to memory. The first, through any 2 points, there is exactly one line. So, for example, there's 2 points right there. Line N is the only line through points P and R. Next, through any 3 non-collinear points, there is exactly one plane. Here we have plane K, 3 non-collinear points, A, B, C. Plane K is the only plane that is through those points. Next one, a line contains at least 2 points. So, you have to have more than 1 point to make a line, at least 2. You can have more than 2. In this example, there's 3. You can have tons and tons of points, but you have to have at least 2. Next, a plane contains at least 3 non-collinear points. Notice the wording, at least 3 non-collinear points. You can have multiple, and here we have 4, but you have to have at least 3. And this, if 2 points lie in a plane, then the entire line containing those points lie in that plane. So, these 2 points that make up line M are on plane K. That means all the possible points on this line, they also have to lie in plane K. Now about the intersection of lines and planes. If 2 lines intersect, then their intersection is exactly 1 point and 1 point only. These 2 lines, line S and line T, intersect at point T. And then last, if 2 planes intersect, their intersection is a line. So here we have plane F and plane G, where they intersect is line W. You should have these memorized. Also, do not feel the need to copy down the pictures here. If you don't want to, you should be able to find these in your text, no problem. So now, about the proofs. A proof is a logical argument in which each statement made is supported by a statement that's accepted as true. And we use proofs to prove our conjectures. Basically, we're going to go from hypothesis to conclusion. Now, in this section, we're talking about paragraph proofs, which are also known as informal proofs. And basically, we're going to have our proof written out in paragraph form, one sentence after another. Eventually, we'll get to making proofs using lists. But for now, we're going to work on paragraph form. So let's take a look at this example. Given that M is the midpoint of segment XY, write a paragraph proof to show that segment XM is congruent with segment MY. So to recap that, we're given this, and we want to prove this. So when we go about proving this in paragraph form, we want to make concise, logical arguments where each statement is supported by a statement that's accepted as true. So let's try to prove this conjecture. So we start with what's given to us. First thing we're given is M is the midpoint of XY. So if M is the midpoint of segment XY, then by the definition of midpoint itself, the definition of midpoint of a segment, we know that XM has to equal MY. That means that segment XM and MY have the same measure. Therefore, by definition of congruence, we say that if 2 segments have the same measure, they are congruent. Thus, segment XM is congruent to segment MY.